I'm so glad again to be speaking to Bob Kudla from Trade Genius. Bob, welcome back.
Oh, thanks for having me, Lionel.
Now, last time we talked about a scary October, a better looking November and Thanksgiving, and then Christmas is around the corner. Give us your prognostication, sir. What are we looking at?
Yeah, I think the cake is baked right now for a. We may get a pullback here a little bit in the beginning of December. You have some what's called tax loss selling, and options have to be kind of re-energized. But it's probably going to be a good push into the middle of January for the markets and in general. Then after that, you get into 2024. I think all hell breaks loose because the macro picture is deteriorating while the flows into the stock market, based on the anticipation that the Fed's going to lower interest rates, they're kind of front running that move, and they're going to end up being wrong. And then people are going to be actually shifting out of stocks into the bond market or into cash because the macro backdrop is weakening.
Now, what can people do right now utilizing Trade Genius, also Trade with Lionel, and our unique coordination? Right now, you've scared the bejesus out of half of the world. What should they do?
Yeah, well, I mean, when you trade in the stock market, there's always a bull market somewhere, Lionel. So our algorithm doesn't care. So it's basically designed. It looks at trend, it looks at momentum, and it looks at where you are in a channel, and then it provides us with a buy signal or a sell signal. So if the market is going up, there's obviously a million different stocks and ETFs you can trade, to take advantage of that. When the markets are going down, there are less opportunities, but they're equally as good. You can be trading in the bond market, or you could trade what they call the inverse of the ETFs, which are exchange traded funds that are betting on the markets to go down. So our algorithm doesn't care. That indicator is applied to anywhere inside what they call the TradingView stock platform, and you just have to set alerts of stuff you like and buy them and sell them in the time frame that you like. So even if you trade like at genius.com with us, mention Lionel, or you go to Trade with Lionel, we put together Black Friday specials, guys. So it's the best pricing of the year. So we're almost giving it away. And we've been doing this every year since we started. And it's just a great opportunity for people to get a really, really, really high ROI on a signal and a system that just simply works. We have over a 65% win rate per trade, and the trades that we win, Lionel, make more money than the trades that lose. So you're just constantly grinding your way to profitability. All trades are on the site. So every time we put a trade signal out there, it's recorded, the good, the bad, and the ugly, so people can see how the system works, and it's very consistent. It's been this way forever. So we tweak things a little bit here and there, got a little bit higher win rate and a little bit higher what's called profit factor. So we like it, and we just simplified the algorithm so people can easily see whether to buy or to sell. And we're just getting a lot of kudos for that. Our customers love it, and that way they can just simply look at a chart and see whether or not they should be in that trade or not in that trade. We keep it pretty simple, and people are visual learners, and you don't want to have to make a whole lot of decisions when you're trading, and it's just nice to have a system that simplifies that for you, and your customers get it, and your subscribers get it, Lionel.
And they get you. And you also don't speak of this kind of figurative, vague truisms. You talk about algorithms, evidence, data. Here's what's going on. Very, very, I don't want to say sterile. I'll say surgical and applied. What else could people be looking for right now that looks to be worthy of either more attention, more ETF activity and the like? What looks good? What is, dare I say, radioactive?
Yeah, you're pretty funny. So yes, uranium stocks are they've been on a tear. So about 10, 12 years ago, uranium did a move even longer, 15 years ago, made it what's an 800% move from 2002 to 2008. And about 2.5, 3 years ago, that uranium started its upcycle again. And we're now in what's called maybe the end of the sixth inning here. But, innings 7, 8, and 9, we should see a double in the uranium space in terms of pricing. And so some stocks are going to go between 2 and 4x at this point. And it happened this morning. We're talking on a Monday. Is that I just went ahead and I bought additional uranium positions in an ETF called URA. And our calculations, our measured move should take the stock from roughly $29 to $56 over probably the next 9 to 12 months. A lot of money and a lot of interest is moving into into the sector, and usually that's when we get the blow off. And so we're at that phase where we should start blowing off here. Everybody and their brother wants uranium. They want nuclear because all the economics of all these countries, the trading is collapsing, and people's balance of payments. And if you can't be self-sufficient in energy, Lionel, you're a failed nation unless you can export the difference. And so there's a mad rush now to get nuclear because, once you buy the uranium and you build a plant, these plants have 30, 40, 50-year lives. And it's just happening everywhere you could think of. I mean, China, believe it or not, all the noise you get in the United States, we're still the largest producer of nuclear energy in the world. And we're still building nuke plants, although very slowly. But China, Japan re-energized their entire sector. Korea just put another one online. France is 90% nuclear. So India is putting a big hard push into it. And so there's not enough uranium in the world, and so the prices are going to go higher, and there's going to be a scramble. It doesn't matter the economic backdrop because you're putting a $5 billion nuke plant up there. Who cares if you're going to pay $100 million or $200 million for the fuel, right? And you're amortizing that thing over 50 years. And nuclear power is still the cheapest electricity out there, I think, other than hydro. And obviously, some places just can't put hydro in because either they don't have the water or they don't have the elevation.
What I'm always fascinated, Bob, when I speak with you is how you are, again, data-driven, algorithm-driven, and not reading into the news or what does this mean or what's happening to the world. If it's not based on data, if there's no algorithm to back it up, if there's not actual numbers to bolster your particular opinion on the positioning, you don't care about it. Doesn't matter whether it's cardboard, plastic. I sound like The Graduate. Or uranium is based on the data. What else should we be looking at? And also, what if somebody right now says, I like this tradewithlionel.com. Tell me about this. What can I get? And when can I start making the millions?
Well, you're a lawyer. You should know I can't have that disclosure. But
I know that was merely figurative.
Yeah. So
hyperbolic.
Yeah. So, if you join the service, you get access to the algorithm. We also teach you how to use it. You get access to our chat room so you can communicate with me or my partners that are in the chat room. And I usually put out a trade or two out every day to help people learn while they earn, if you will, and take advantage of it. And like I said, we did URA today. There's other stocks we do every single day. I try to put a trade out for people. There's always trades coming up. And so you can buy basic packages and just get that, or you can join the advanced group where you actually have communication like you and I talking right now, and trade options, trade futures. That's the VIP room, or you can just opt for training. So those are your choices that you have with us, and you can trade stocks. And we also have a room that's dedicated to cryptocurrencies. So we help people with that as well. My partner is a former Bitcoin miner. And so I don't think anybody knows crypto better than he does.
How is that, by the way? I don't want to, because people not in the biz will always try to extrapolate from SBF and Bankman Fried but from your expertise level, how is that?
Yeah, so we're Bitcoin centric at the moment. The altcoins are they're very speculative, and so you can make enough money just trading Bitcoin. And for people that just want to hold it, they call them hodlers. That's fine too. Bitcoin probably is going to push down a little bit from these moves. It has really nice moves here. A lot of liquidity has come in from Janet Yellen action here in the last 60 days or so. People are expecting an ETF for Bitcoin. Once that gets absorbed, probably pushed down with the recession that we're going to have. And then once they start QE again with the Fed, Bitcoin will probably go to the moon. But you can trade Bitcoin. There's Bitcoin ETFs out there, and there's also Bitcoin miners out there. So there's a lot of ways that you can make money in the crypto space without screwing around with the altcoins. As you can see with Sam Bankman-Fried, there's a lot of fraud that can happen in that environment. Bitcoin is limited. It's rare because there's a limit on how many tokens are available, but you can produce altcoins all day long, every day of the week, unless it has a specific case that's valuable. It's just pure speculation, and you don't have to worry about that stuff. You can make a lot of money just trading Bitcoin or trading the Bitcoin miners, and we help you that way.
Now, going to tradewithlionel.com, and of course you, Bob Kudla, there is no time to join. It's now, not next week, not the end of the year. Now, there's always, like you say, there's always a bull market. There's always the time to jump in now. So do not hesitate. Do not wait. Well, I'll wait after. I hear this sometimes. I'll wait after the election. What are you talking about? Now is the time. Am I correct?
Yeah, and look, the way we have it set up, you don't have to really know much about trading to be able to take advantage of it. You don't need a lot of money to start trading. You just dial down the number of shares that you buy. And, we help you with good decision making because of the algorithm. So, a lot of people when they start trading, they try to fly by the seat of the pants, or they read what's happening in the news. Oh, that stock's going up, I got to buy it. We call that sold to you, meaning that you are the sucker at the poker table, because once it gets out in the news, it's too late. Our algorithms are looking at the bottom of the channel, looking for up cycles. And so we get you in right away. So you can start grinding your way right from the get-go. And, it's interesting to me, there's a lot of articles coming out. We're in a really interesting time in the world in terms of, a lot of people are retiring now. And so more people are going to get more actively involved in their investments, which you should. You shouldn't just be with a passive fund. And even if you're with a passive fund, you need to be able to talk to your financial advisor, because a lot of times they're working off of formulas. They're not necessarily, looking at, I would say they're always looking for your best interest. So I don't want to be dogmatic about that. It's just that they're in a don't lose situation.
Right.
As a lawyer if you say I dotted all the I's and crossed all the T's, I'm not going to get sued for being incompetent, but you may not be optimizing people's portfolios. Excuse me. So that's their problem. And the other thing too is, if you look at the markets today, the stock market, quote unquote, is up for the year, but it's not really up for the year. It's actually down because the top 7 stocks are skewing the market. Most people have underperformed the markets this year in passive funds. And I know that because I have family members being managed passively. And so, and we're up for the year and they're down for the year just because they're equal, what they call the equal weighted funds are down almost double digit for the year. It's just that the top 7 stocks are killing it. But we do it a different way. We look at, there's certain sectors that are constantly been growing, and they have cycles. So energy's been good for us this year, and you just rotate out oil into uranium, right? You can rotate back into oil here in the next week or two. In fact, I think it started again on Friday. So all we do is we just look at these. Our algorithm just tells us what sectors to buy. We look for stocks in those sectors, and it's a nice way to earn a little extra money if you're retired. If you make $100 a day in the market, Lionel, you're making $20,000 a year. I don't know about you, but that could pay for the car, that could pay for a
Yes.
trip, pay for help, with your rent. You don't have to be like crazy stock nut, to make good money. You make $500 a day in the market, you're making $100,000 a year. These things are doable over time. And so, you have people that work part-time, you have people that work hours that they're available during the stock market, people that are retired. We have all those customers. We have a lot of customers that actually work, and they just want to have the information to know how to manage their portfolio by sector too. So we do all that for people.
Well, this is why tradewithlionel.com is so important. And what I've always been most impressed with, in fact, I got to tell this little anecdote. Last time we spoke, one of the listeners here, one of our followers, emailed me and said I needed to get a hold of such and such, and I called Trade Genius, called up your firm, and I got this glowing email back. I know people are saying, "Did this really happen?" I swear to God, this happened. He said they were the nicest, most accommodating, because there's nothing worse than getting into anything. Those of us who have spent hours trying to get a cable connected. Customer service can be a nightmare, and yours was just absolutely blue chip, off the chart. So that is, of course, part of the package as well, because you don't just say, "Great, have a nice day, you're in." You're there to help and there to assist and there to handhold sometimes, but they're also to teach, and that's what's so critical about what you're doing.
Oh, no, thank you. I mean, everybody here, our team is primarily located here in California, and one of my other partners lives up in, splits his time between Idaho and Hawaii. So we're all in the United States. We work, West Coast hours, and yeah, I appreciate the compliment. We try to be accommodating if, any dissatisfaction gets to my level anyway. And our philosophy is you solve it in the customer's favor unless it's unreasonable.
Well, it's also tradewithlionel.com. That's what all the information is here. Bob Kudla, any famous last word? Not famous last words. That's terrible. Any propitious words of encouragement?
Yeah, I mean, look, I think, the economic background is going to deteriorate, but it's going to provide us with some really, really good opportunities to protect yourself and also to take advantage of it. All the dynasties that you see that are kind of unwinding now all got their start out of the Great Depression. So, when a pine forest burns, new pine trees come up. And that's the same, works in the stock market too. When the market's starting to blow up, there's definitely new precious metals that are being minted, and also when the market goes down, there's tremendous opportunities to make a lot of money in the bond market. Believe it or not, even though we're going into hyper debt here, people will rush to that for safety, and there's some really good profitable trades in there for you. And one last example. So in 2008, the market was down 50%, but the bond market was up 50%. So, you just have to shift out of stocks and you shift into bonds, and you're like, what market crash? And then you're
Right.
positioned to shift back out of bonds back into stocks after you get a massive correction like that. So we help people through that as well. So come check us out. Like I said, what we charge for service is nothing to what you get out of it. We do really well for our clients. We don't overpromise. We try to overdeliver.
Excellent. Well, Bob Kudla, we have all the information below with tradewithlionel.com, and you're with Trade Genius as well. As always, if I love to speak with you, I love the sense of there's a calm, there's a methodical, almost a scientific laboratory. It's like a doctor telling you, if this goes down, this goes up. There's never it's not this hyper exuberant schmaltz. I'm not going to mention any names, but it's clinical, it's direct, it's professional, and that's why you're as great as you are. Bob Kudla from Trade Genius. Also, tradewithlionel.com. Anything, any specials, anything when somebody calls or goes on to tradewithlionel.com, what should they know? What should they say? What are they looking for? Any secret code words or open sesames or shibboleths or anything they should know?
It's really simple. It's Black Friday. So, if you look at the pricing that you see on Trade with Lionel, you call in, just make sure you're getting the Black Friday specials. And if you happen to come into my site directly and you don't go through Trade with Lionel, let them know where you came from so we can
Yes.
apply the discounts that we promised Lionel Nation. So, but that's it. It's really simple. And like I say, you sign up today, tomorrow you're in business.
Indeed. Bob Kudla, my friend, always, always a pleasure. Depending upon when this is seen, happy holidays to you and your family. And we will talk again. Bob Kudla from Trade Genius and TradeWithLionel.com. Thank you, my friend.
Thanks for having me.